when you
You
have a
will believe.
battleship right there, you have C10s of the South. Now you guys have OBS Nationals. You have so many different things going on. Break down year number 9 for us, brother.
We were at the battleship for 8 years. We basically just outgrew it, and we knew about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, that we were getting there. And this past year, there was about a 3 hour wait to get in. We just knew we had to make a change, and we were already in talks with Talladega prior to that on some other events that we're going to be doing with them. Me and Trevor just got together and we were like, hey, look, let's do this. Let's make Bama in Talladega. And he's like, let's do it. And so we went ahead and we made the move, made the announcement, and here we go, man. So we're on our 9th year.
Yo, what up, C10 Nation? This is Ronnie from C10 Talk. C10 Talk is one of those podcast things. We talk C10 trucks, tech, and people. That's right, people. Because it's the people that make the scene so rad ass. The trucks are cool, but the people are cooler. You can check out the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, c10talk.com, and anywhere else you listen to your favorite podcasts. Thanks for checking out our latest video and being part of the C10 Nation.
All right, all right. Always good to hang out with my buddy Craig Raleigh. Roz is behind the scenes. She's doing what she does. So it takes a team to run a show, and don't I know it with the reunion. Let's go a little battle in Bama. This is their 9th year. Stoked to have you on, Craig. Thanks again for sitting down with C10 Talk, OBS Talk, and Truck Talk Media.
Hey, man, thank you for having us.
Okay, let's kick it off. I mean, you got a new location, Talladega.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have ever thought, right? I mean, I absolutely loved your old location. Thankful that I made it out in 21. And I don't know if you could tell from my enthusiasm during the pod that I did, but my favorite show east of the Mississippi is definitely Battle in Bama. C10 Fall Revival, you're right there. Don't get mad. But I mean, when you have a battleship, when you
You
have a
will believe.
battleship right there, you have C10s of the South. Now you guys have OBS Nationals. You have so many different things going on. Break down year number 9 for us, brother.
We were at the battleship for 8 years. We basically just outgrew it, and we knew about 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, that we were getting there. And this past year, there was about a 3 hour wait to get in. We just knew we had to make a change, and we were already in talks with Talladega prior to that on some other events that we're going to be doing with them. Me and Trevor just got together and we were like, hey, look, let's do this. Let's make Bama in Talladega. And he's like, let's do it. And so we went ahead and we made the move, made the announcement, and here we go, man. So we're on our 9th year. We've got registrations rolling. It's been an amazing promotional adventure, I can tell you that. And what I mean by that is by going to the track, we have sparked the interest of many, many big vendors that are coming to us. And that is obviously, if when they're coming to you, that's always a feel good situation. We've got people from everywhere. We've got Edelbrock coming, we've got LMC Truck coming, US Mags, Fessler. Twin States is going to be out there. They're a heavy hitter for us this year. Goolsby's coming out. We've got Riffy's Rods coming out. I mean, there's so many that's coming out, and we're just blessed to have that kind of interest, even though that we're moving to Talladega. So we've got a great thing going, and we're moving forward.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny is it's kind of like, and excuse my French here, but we used to use the saying "P gets P." So when you go to the bar, if you got a girl on you, you guys can use the figure out what P is. But when you got P with you, then you're able to get more P. And so what was funny is now you've got some of these heavy hitters, and they're coming out, and obviously 9 years in doing what you've done, some of those heavy hitters, like you said, they're going to make the journey. Like Fessler coming right out of Arizona. I just interviewed Chris and his wife Carrie yesterday. They're stoked. I know my buddy Jeff Volker, him and Hart. They've got obviously that amazing '93 Indy. He's jacked up about it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, just some heavy hitters, right? So you guys have really, when you go to that bigger venue, let's rewind a little bit. Did you ever think because you had such a just an amazing location, was that really tough to make that decision?
Yeah, it was extremely tough. And like I said, we knew 2 years ago that it was getting very crowded, and we tried to make some adjustments to try to get it to where it wasn't so congested or it wasn't the wait. And no matter what we did, it just kept growing and growing and growing. And we just couldn't stop. I mean, the thing about it is that you could put a cap on something, and if it's growing on another end, whether it's spectators or it's vendors or whatever, you're growing no matter how you look at it. So you can cap a registration, but you can't cap spectators. You can't. There's nothing you can do, and you only have so much space. So yes, was it very? We were struggling to make that decision, to be quite honest with you. And once we sat down and talked about it, I think it was a no-brainer that we had to make a decision. We had to do it for several reasons, and there was nowhere around here that can handle the size event that we have. We looked everywhere. We looked everywhere on the coast. It just there's nothing there, and Talladega is built for. It has the infrastructure to grow. I mean, it's the what first or second largest track in the country. I mean, we've got space that's just unlimited. You know, we moved it to a place that we can actually be comfortable now and know that we don't feel that we're ever going to outgrow that.
Yeah, what's cool about that is I remember this happened to Dino. What a great problem, right? You think like the old school Dinos was like, we 200, right? And then he's just like, no, I got to leave it at the shop. I remember talking to him and thinking, dude, Cat, you have people that are coming from, they're driving across
Everywhere.
state lines, 3, 4, 5 state lines, and then they get here and they can't get in. Now that's the difference of a free show where it's just wide open, where you guys have registration, but the same thing, right? As a spectator, you're thinking, all right, who's putting this together, and why am I sitting in traffic for 1, 2, 3 hours? Get me in. I want to drop my truck off. I want to party. I want to hang with the people. So
Yeah,
I will
Ronnie,
say though, up until that point, man, I mean, obviously I was there in 21, and it seemed seamless. It seemed like people got in, and it was a really, really just such a fun vibe. I love, and I have to listen to the pod, but it just has such a really fun vibe of like, you get a little mini truck there. You had the cars, you had the trucks, you had the music, you had the awards, you had the ship, you have I'm looking forward to it. I love what you guys are doing.
I tell you, it's crazy. I was just talking to somebody today that was with a big company, and we were talking about because he's been coming for the last couple of years, and he's like, Craig, I've never seen something like what you have going on because you have an abundance of everything. You have pro street cars, mini trucks, C10s, OBS trucks, Ford trucks. I mean, you have it. I just haven't seen that kind of a variety in that amount of abundance at an event. He says, man, he says it's unreal. He says, and he says he couldn't just wait to see what's going to take place at Talladega.
Yeah, same. And that's kind of something that we've modeled the reunion after from the perspective of that high school parking lot. I always tell guys, of course, I'm a C10 guy, love Chevy trucks,
Oh yeah.
OBS trucks, but you get, I love a 5'2" blonde meat butt, good to go. But every now and then a redhead walks by. I mean, come on, it's okay to look at something else. And if we're always looking at the same stuff, then I think that it's going to hurt our scene. So having that variety there. And another thing that you guys did that I of course loved was some of that BMX love. So when you
Oh
think
yeah.
about going back to the good times and you think about the variety of the trucks and everything that you guys have going on, and then bringing back some of that old school stuff, it's really the vibe is going to be, it continues to be such a fun, powerful thing.
Well, that, and you can look at just the collection that I have of mini trucks and the stuff that I actually have. I love taking it back. Like I miss the days of what we used to do and the cruising and like you said, the high school parking lot, and it was crazy times and it was great. And that's why I started collecting BMXs. I've got
Yeah.
a bunch of bikes, and I mean, it just brings you back. Like you said, it's like the reunion, man. It just brings you back.
Yeah. One of the other things you guys are known for is tacos on the ship on Friday night. How do you recreate that?
So yeah, that was a huge thing, and well, I think obviously being at Talladega, we went ahead and just kind of merged on in with Talladega Nights, and so now we got Talladega Nights pre-party. Fessler is the presenting. They're presenting that this year for us, so they're sponsoring that. We appreciate that. But yeah, we're doing jambalaya and pastalaya, and we're going to do our giveaways like we always do. We've got I think a couple C10 benches. We actually got an old Datsun. We made an old Datsun tailgate bench that we're going to give away. A bunch of skate decks and custom painted stuff, and some gift cards from LMC, and just quite a bunch of stuff. So it's going to be the same kind of feel, the same kind of vibe, but like I said, it's going to be a Talladega Nights. I think we're going to do a Ricky Bobby dress alike contest too. So
Nice.
cash
Yeah,
reward.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody loves that. The other thing that's very distinctive about your show was that I thought was second to none was the parking lot party.
Oh
Going
yeah.
to the hotels and where you had the three hotels, and I felt everything was kind of secure. And for the audience, the reason why was it was like these hotels were kind of like on their own. Even the road going into the hotels was a party. Like trucks and trailers were just lined up getting into the hotels. The hotels was kind of a takeover, and then at that point, just partying, and everybody kept it civil. I don't remember anything getting too crazy. Again, that I'm sure year to year it might change, but really the party becomes part of the show that factors into the fun. And when you leave the show and you think, okay, the vibe, the trucks, the people, the scenery, and then you're like, dude, I had so much fun just hanging out in the parking lot. So it all kind of, and there's things there you can't control. You're like, hey, we gave them a place to show their truck, we gave them food, we gave them vendors, we gave them, some awards, and here's a couple hotels. And then the guys are going to do what the guys are going to do, and the girls are going to do what they're going to do, and it's good people.
Well, I tell you, we never for 8 years we have not had one issue at the hotels, and the hotel people, they basically gave us the hotels. We sold them all out, so nobody else would stay. So there would be no complaints, and everybody just partied in the parking lot. And we're going to try to recreate that as in Talladega as well, because we've already sold out 5 hotels, and three of the hotels are right next to each other. So hopefully we can recreate that vibe that we have down here in Mobile. And like I said, it's our first year going up there. We got a foundation to make, and we'll learn as we go, and we'll establish things as we go. We have a great system down here. We're just going to transfer it up there.
How's registration? Are you guys very pleased with that? Are there still some last minute? Are you going to run it up to like 2 weeks prior? How's that going to work out? There you have to cut it off because it's like I can't handle last minute. So will you cut it off, and then will you have open registration for drive ups, or how are you guys handling that?
So we're going to stick with pre-registration only for this year. We want to make sure that, like I said, we have everything organized. Right now, I think we're over 1,500 registered. We're not even into the beginning of May yet. So I think middle of May we'll shut it down. I was going to shut it down on May 1st, but I'll let it run till the middle of May and knock it off there. And we are basically almost filled with vendors. So I think we're going to shut that down sooner than registration. But yeah, I mean, there's no complaints. I mean, I really was, when I made the announcement last year, I was real nervous because, again, we had such a great venue, such a great system. So I was really nervous. I made the announcement, and I immediately got phone calls like, hey, man, best thing ever, dude. This is going to be awesome. We're going to miss the ship, but I tell you what, I think you've done a great thing. So, we do still hear about the ship. This past weekend over at Mini Nats, they were like, man, we're going to miss the ship. We're going to do that. I said, that's cool. That was 8 years. Let's rock Talladega and see what we can do.
Yeah, yeah, and I haven't. I mean, obviously, I've watched plenty of races, but obviously the movie as well. But I wonder, will there be can you get on the track, and can you use the track and have that Talladega background for pictures like you could the ship, or what are you guys allowed to do?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. There will be no track laps for the first year.
Hmm.
Like I said, we're going to build a foundation, and I just really didn't want to. I just wanted to make sure that we have our system under control before we start doing that. Um, but yeah, as far as pictures, we got opportunities to take pictures in Winter Circle. We got opportunities to take pictures on pit road and on the track itself.
So a couple things that you guys have done such a great job. Originally, you guys had C10s in the South, and not originally, but you continue to have C10s in the South, and that whole crew, and then the OBS Nationals. So you guys bring, the first time I ever heard about C10s in the South, I was like, how is this the same weekend as Battle in Bama? And then I realized, oh, this is part of that. They're the C10 guys, and they did a great job. And I did miss pastelaya. I was a little bummed about that, but I think I'll have to make sure I get a plate. I did get the tacos though. Tacos. So you got both those events going on simultaneously again?
Yeah. So C10s of the South is celebrating their 10th anniversary with us, and they have their own area like they did back in the ship. So they're going to have their own area. They're going to do their thing, and we also incorporated OBS Nationals now. So we're basically going to birth that event at Talladega. Right now we're sitting at over 215 registered OBS trucks, which I think is amazing for the first year. And again, and it has their own area. So it's going to be a couple shows and it's going to be a mega event is what it's going to be, and that's what we're promoting it at. But OBSs will have their own area. C10s of the South has their own area, and then we have Million Dollar Row that's going to be held on pit road. So C10 Million Dollar Row is brought to you by LMC Truck, and again they're going to be on pit road. Um, and we have over 100 C10s going to be on Million Dollar Row right now.
Wow. So that's getting up to like 2 million, $3 million million instead
I
of
think
million. How about this? Instead of $1 million, it's $1 million.
yeah.
So I remember being there and the whole thing was just set up so good the way you have it. So you're gonna have all that on pit row. Is that where you're gonna have that?
Yeah, we're going to have all that on pit road. We have some specialty cars that's going to be on pit road as well. We've got the Pro Street Takeover that's going to be on pit road. A bunch of Pro Streets coming from all over the country. We have Mini Trucking Boulevard that's going to be on there, sponsored by Mini Trucking Magazine. They'll be on that pit road as well. So we've got quite a few things happening on pit road.
Yeah, variety, right? So you can
Oh
kind of
yeah,
go to each little, it's kind of like Disneyland, you're like, okay, I want to go to Space Mountain, I want to go here, I want to go here, and I can check it all out and get that variety. And then the vendors, I assume, will it be set up kind of like the Triple Crown where you have the vendors kind of in that one area and then all the cars and trucks and everything out on the track?
correct. So well, yes and no. See, Talladega is a lot bigger than what Nashville is. So the way it's going to work is everybody's going to walk through the turnstiles and they're going to be directed strictly straight through manufacturers midway where all the vendors are. And you have to go through the vendor area in order to get to the OBS Nationals or to the regular vehicles. You have to go through them. You walk straight down, you'll go to OBSs. You walk straight to the left, you'll go to C10s, and then you go to the main show area as well. But everything has its own area, that's for sure.
Okay. So you got 1,500 pre-reg. You're gonna pre-reg it probably to maybe May 10th, mid-May.
Yeah, roughly.
Okay, and for the audience, May 31st, June 1st. So you're looking right there and that, obviously the end of May. Let's just say, okay, you get to 1,800. So the audience that hasn't, maybe they're hearing about it and they're like, holy shit, I need to get this, I need to get registered. What are they looking at? What's the cost per registration?
It's $80 to register the vehicle, and it comes with 2 armbands for the weekend.
Okay, two armbands and then walk-ins, spectators.
It's $20 for a weekend pass.
Okay. Yeah, and I got to think that was a big thing, right? Thinking how much do you spend for the old location versus now when you go to the new location, it isn't cheap, right? I mean, talking to
Oh,
Dino
yeah.
and some of these other guys that when you're wanting to rent a racetrack or a football stadium or, which is a great problem. We used to have good guys and that was really about it. Some of
Right.
these, obviously Mini Natch, some of these shows that have had such success over the years, but to think, LST and Dino's, and you're getting close to that 10-year mark and going 10 or more years. Well, it was kind of just like we all chilled out. I know out here we had brothers. They had hit, I think, 23, 24. And
Wow.
word I heard is that is going to be over now because they sold to Holly, and I don't think Holly's doing it. Good guys kind of had the pick of the litter. They were all over. They managed it, and now these trucks are taking over, and it's just that same thing, right? We're of that age. We want that high school parking lot feel. We want that
Sure.
vibe, and that vibe and the people that were, the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler, and we are just so blessed to have the scene that we have, and if we don't realize it, I mean, let's just say it is now what it is. We're the old 32 Ford Coupe guys. We're those old dudes. We're just happen to be truck guys, and whether it's a
That's
Mini,
what I tell everybody.
100%. And we're those guys and those girls and those families
Yep.
and enjoy it while you can because
RC10s are our dad's 69 Camaros.
Yeah, I saw a thing. My son actually sent it to me today, and it said, enjoy these old classics because we're probably the last generation to drive them. I don't think that we are. I do think that, my son's got an 86 S10. He's got a 66, and he just turned 22 last week. But I think that we're going to keep it going. I sure hope we will. I know LMC and the vendors all hope we will. But at the end of the day, just know that you're in a great time for classic trucks, whether that's minis, blazers, full size, whatever it is, because we really are blessed to think that we have so many fun shows. And at one point, there was like 5 shows, right? And you had to
Right.
hit LST, you had to hit Dino's. Obviously, you were one of them. And now you've got a new show popping up. Every 2 weeks, there's a show that you could probably go to.
Dude, it's crazy. And you see they just keep adding and adding and adding. It's like, come on, man. Let's
I know.
whew,
Well,
we're not gonna have any time.
well, for eventually you start to really look at the dates and you're like, okay, and I mean, there's so much crossover, and I don't know geographically, it's like, okay, I'm in this part of the state, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
Right.
Obviously, something that you guys look at is, okay, hey, I got to look at when Mini Nats is, I got to start looking at all these other dates, and you try to keep the as consistent as possible.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, we were in the beginning of May, and we moved off of a lot of people and a lot of things to go to the end of May and beginning of June. And I feel like I feel like it's a great move. So we always spot a lot of hot rod shows around here. We also dance recitals and graduations. So like I
I
said,
always
we moved
remember.
it towards.
I think the year I went, it was like May 5th. I don't have no. Obviously it's been a few years back. I don't remember. I just remember there was like 2 other shows that same weekend. So
Oh yeah,
I know you figured it out. You've got that. You've kind of like you're competing with dads and grads and hey, what a great time to have a parking lot party when you're like, hey, you just graduated, senior trip. Here we go.
let's do it.
Have you ever heard the Eric Church song Talladega? Because it's probably one of my favorite Eric Church songs.
No, no, I haven't.
Oh my God. I absolutely it's got to be top 3 Eric Church songs for me, Talladega. So we'll make sure maybe
I'm gonna hit it up after we get off.
oh yeah, I absolutely love the song. I love it. So that and there's the Bruce Springsteen song that he does. So it's all about going back. You're gonna love the Talladega song. Ninth year OBS Nationals, $215 million row. What else? What else we got going on? I want to make sure I'm just kind of looking over my list. Hotels. So can they get those hotels? I know you're more of I give for the audience. I give him so much shit. I'm like, dude, you are he's so Facebook heavy and I'm so Instagram heavy. So it's funny. I could go to my Facebook messages and there'll be 10 from Craig and I haven't seen him, and then I could go to my Instagram messages and I've sent him 10, and if we just linked up on Instagram, you think Meta would have this shit figured out. And by the way, just shameless plug, OBS Talk is gone. I'm trying like hell. I paid some guy in Turkey a bunch of money, and then he just kept asking me for more money. So I'm trying like hell to get it back. I don't think it's coming back. So if you can do me a favor, go to OBS Truck Talk and follow that new account, because I think OBS Talk is gone. So we hit 50, we hit 50K, and then I was busy reunioning, doing what I had to do. The same thing is there. Facebook's good, but Instagram is I can't get on. It said I violated, or it said the account violated their rules. I don't violate rules, so I don't know if it was getting too many bots, and then the only thing that really frustrates me with it is they did not. I never got an email to. So I never got an account. I never got an email. Sorry. And then what happened is it just was not responding. So the first thing I do when an account isn't responding, I mean, I hold my breath. I go into my computer. I make sure I still know and remember the login. I logged out, and then I never could log back in. Once I tried to
Oh,
log back in, it was like, you cannot log back in. This account has been disabled because of violation of rules. So I think I let it sit for a couple weeks. Kept trying. Then I reached out to some people. I made a post. Hey, anybody? I got a few different suggestions. I got a guy who, personal friend, has a big account. He said, "Hey, I used this guy. It was suspect. I had to send some money over WhatsApp and Western Union. So I did that, and the guy responded. He took my $300, and then he said he needed another $200, and then he went just completely blank on me. And then today's Wednesday. Monday, he hit me up. Hey, your account. This is what we're dealing with. I need $400 more. I said, here's the deal, dude. I'm not giving you another dime. I said, if you get the account back and by the end of the week, I'll send you 500 bucks. And I'll do it. I wish there was an escrow account where you could put the money, but I'm not going to send you any more money. He's like, all right. Well, I can't do anything. So I'm still trying to get a hold of Instagram. You cannot get a hold of Meta. Meta is just it's a shit show. They don't it. You know what?
Wow.
Sam, my buddy Sam Castronova said this, and this it just as I was talking to him because he's verified, and I said, hey, is there any like back emails I can send? And he goes, who would have ever thought that we would be happy that and miss the days of talking to some Pakistani guy? Because now you're just AI. It's just and you're like, I'm just like, holy shit, that is so true. Like at least you could talk to somebody that even though you could only understand half the shit, now we're gonna just talk to AI. And so I've already hit
You're a
up there.
trip.
Oh, dude, I've already hit up their AI, and I'm like, hey, what do I got to do? And it sends me. I said, hey, can you help me? And it just sends a bunch of random shit, and you're just like, so it is frustrating. I've heard this horror stories happen to multiple people, and then they log back in, and there's the account. Wishful thinking. But I've also heard. I know Renee, the C10 King, that happened to him. He got his name back, but I think the followers and the pictures and the data and all that's gone too. So it is frustrating because your social media is such a timeline of what you've done, and
Yeah,
it's such a
sure.
cool chronological, timeline. So
Yeah.
the biggest wishful thinking I have is that it wasn't C10 Talk or C10 Nation, but we were kicking butt with OBS Talk, and it just so happens that we literally got to 50,000. I made a post. Thanks. Awesome. Few more weeks, reunions coming up, post some reunion stuff and good to go. And then boom, just, and I'm sure I was busy with the show and you know how busy you get at the time of the show. And I was like, all right, whatever, no big deal. And I could never get back in. So I've tried probably 3 times a day for, I don't know, maybe the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow, dude. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's frustrating. It is. It is. I get it. It's a free platform. They make their money, whatever. But I just wish they had some support, and they don't have good support. So if anybody's out there, because I'm going to put this both on C10 and OBS, because obviously, if anybody else has anything, I know Oscar down in Australia, he hit me up. But yeah, it seems like you have to almost have a backdoor guy that works at Meta, even if they'll charge you, then they can get in there and figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I guess if OBS Talk pops back up eventually, then you'll know I got it back. But right now, started a new account about a week or two ago, OBS Truck Talk, just to make it. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So May 31st, June 1st. Hotels, are they online? The 5 hotels.
Yes. Yeah, everything's online, and my cell number's online too. So if anybody has any questions, they can always call me. Right now, we've sold out, I believe, 5 hotels, and we're on the comfort suites now at Pell City, and they
Okay.
have a Bama rate.
So
So
just
yeah,
battleandbama.com.
battleandbama.net.
Okay.
Somebody get
Battle,
my .com.
okay. Battleandbama.net. Talladega Nights. Like the tacos on the ship, do they have to buy a ticket or anything for that?
It's the first 500 registered,
Okay.
and it's for all the vendors.
Okay. First 500 registered, so that is done. And that's going
Done.
to be obviously that's also Talladega Nights is going to be as well. C10's in the south, and you're going to have the pastalaya, the jambalaya for
Yep.
free,
Yep.
and then all the vendors. Okay, so we've got that. Hotels, they're going to have obviously the clientele you've got going to the show is going to be tons of partying going on, tons of good times. 215 OBS trucks. So if you're out there and you're hearing this in the last, we've got about a month, 3 weeks to go here. Get with Craig. And then do you kind of estimate a shutdown time? Are you thinking the 10th through the 15th is when you're going to shut registration
It'll
down?
be sometime mid-May.
Okay. Let's just say the 20th, about a month you've got, because obviously you've got 2 weeks going up the show. You got to get everything ready. Do
Sure.
they get like a goodie bag or something when they come in?
Yeah. So when they come in, they'll get their package, and they'll have like stickers and whatnot in there, and they get their armbands, and they're ready to come in, and everything's directed through the track. So it's gonna be pretty easy.
Okay. One last thing. I'll take you out on this. The Joe Rowley Award. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's a memorial award that we give out, and to me, it's the best of show. But it's in the memory of my dad that passed away in 2013. before he passed, I was building Flat Broke, which was the chop top panel truck that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and we were building that. We were going to debut it, I believe it was 2013 at SEMA, and everything kind of got put on hold when he got diagnosed with cancer that prior February, and they gave him 7 months to live. And so we did a bunch of road trips and anything. But anyway, prior to that, we were building the truck, and our goal was to build the truck and then put a car show on. Because I told him I just moved here in 2011. I said, man, that place would be excellent to put a car show at. I think it's right off the highway. It's right there. It's great. And this area has a lot of hot rods and trucks. So that was going to be a plan of ours. And it didn't go through. He passed away. I finished the truck. I debuted it in 2014 at SEMA, and then I did the show immediately after. And it's basically in his memory. And so we give his award out every year. And like I said, to me, it's what I look at. I look at stuff that he would either have loved to had or had, because he was a hot rod guy. He was a truck guy. He was a custom guy through and through. So we just pick an award, and it's in his memory, and it's very, 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 very special to me.
Yeah, and I brought it up, just because we all kind of grew up with those dads, and we grew up with somebody in mind. And I remember being at the show, watching the awards, and you kind of talked a little bit about that. But I think the audience needs to realize that, and having those memorial awards is such a powerful thing to keep, just keep that legacy, a little bit of that alive, to where, it just makes me, and I assume it makes a lot of people, just kind of think, it's hard in our world to slow down, but when you're listening to somebody present an award, that especially something that means that much, a tribute style award, you really slow it down, and you're like, you know what, thank you, and thank you for doing that, and Dad, thank you. And then hopefully the guys in the audience, the kids, the daughters, the moms, the dads, they even get a little thank you out of it, like, hey, thanks for helping me with this, and thank you for everything that you do.
Anybody that's ever gotten that award has come up to me crying after that. I mean, it's really emotional for me, because I love to keep his memory alive, and I continue to do what I do. And he got me into custom cars and trucks. I mean, he built my first truck when I was 14 years old, and at 15 I got shot for Mini Trucking Magazine by Mike Shardis, and I was still in high school, Ronnie. And I mean, it's just, I just grew up with it, and he was an amazing dad, and I truly miss him. But yeah, it's just one of those things. We keep their memories alive, and there's many, like LST gives quite a bit of memorial awards out, and I think it's amazing what they do. So
yeah, well, we wouldn't be here without those people, again, behind us, supporting us, teaching us, mentoring us. So without a doubt. All right, I think we're good. I think with you, and obviously I know Roz is always behind you, and just helping you, and you got so many different people, again, even to the point of the volunteers. It takes an army. It takes a village to put this on, and you might be front man in it, but there's a lot that goes on, and you got to keep the family in school. You got to keep the kids doing what they're doing, and keep things moving. How far is Talladega, from the perspective of where the BattleShip is to your house to where Talladega is? It a lot? Is it a lot further?
just 3 hours.
Oh, so yeah, there's no running back home.
No, we're not coming back home. No, we got an RV on site, and we're staying there. So
Yeah.
but
Load
yeah,
everything up, have it in bins and extra
oh yeah,
shit, and yeah.
oh
So
yeah,
how far was Battle in Bama?
5 minutes.
Oh, see, you better do a two dress rehearsals, because there's going to be something. Obviously, you'll know where the Home Depot is, the Lowe's, the Harbor Freight, the Tractor Supply. Because I'm just like,
Oh, you
dude,
know it.
same. I'm 6 minutes from the reunion, and I run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's a blessing to think that if we did something in a different location, you'd really have to make sure I had a lot of checks and balances.
Well, I'll tell you, you hit the hammer on the head when you said it takes an army, and like you said, Rosalind, and just, I mean, she's a soldier for putting up with all this and doing this, and but the staff that we have is amazing. I think we have over 47 staff members. It takes everybody to make this happen. It's not just one person. I am only as good as who I surround myself with. And that's a fact.
Good. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I bet you get close to 2 grand. Sometimes anymore, I don't know that the numbers really matter. It's about the good time and the fun, and
Yeah.
and just
Big
that
numbers.
whole atmosphere. So we wish you nothing but good luck. I know Craig and I have talked about it before going on air. It's I'm trying to get out there, trying to make it work and get the schedule all finite figured out. But bottom line for you guys out there, get yourself registered if you haven't already. And I promise you it's going to be a good time.
Hey, thanks, Ronnie, for having us, and we appreciate everything you do, man.
Okay. Peace, brother.
All right, brother, be cool.
Thank you.